As I mentioned, my colleagues will be going over some updates. Again, the new protocols and procedures we will be undertaking here, the expectations that will go with them. That will include new volunteer roles, some of which are active right now. Others are in the offing, but will be kicking off soon. And then again, we will be concluding with the Q&A. So with that, I will hand things over to my esteemed colleague, Mr. Dave Kazemchak.
Thank you, Ian, and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. I thought it was really cool as Maria opened up the room to see all your faces popping up. I know so many of your names, but I have never got to meet many of you. So you're all superstars, and it's really kind of cool to get to see some faces, and then some of you I do know, and it's also a great thing to see you all here live and in person. So to get started, what I want to talk a little bit today about is I want to share some of the important work we're doing to help us improve our audiobook solution out to students and out to schools. When we last talked by email, we shared some of the staffing changes we were going through and our plans to kind of combine and pull a team together that will be more of a single audiobook team that we made up of project managers to help us make sure we're prioritizing the right books and focusing on turnaround and delivering the needs of schools and students and educators. And as well, and also we are bringing on, or have brought on a full team of producers that are helping us cast projects and getting the right voices on these books, and also helping us with some coaching and again, being able to up the game of our narration and the audiobooks we're providing. We've implemented a number of new project management tools that are helping us better track and report our data on what we're producing, and again, making sure we are producing the highest need books. Our goals this year are really focused on impact. What are the titles that are the highest priority that teachers and educators need? Now, what are the projects that students want to read that their peers are reading? In the past, when we focused a lot on quantity, we were getting the numbers out, but the right books were kind of getting lost in that mix. So this year, we're doing a much better job finding those books that we want to get out, again, that the students want to read and the educators are using in the classroom. Another thing we're finding is there's a lot of diverse voices out there that we need to bring on board in order to produce the books that schools and students want. So we're doing a better job getting the right voices on these books as well. Students want to hear voices that sound like them and sound like the characters in the books. So we want to do more of that work. And again, get better at meeting turnaround needs of the educators that need these audiobooks in their classrooms. And again, putting names to faces, I'd like to introduce our new audiobook producer team, made up of Danielle Quisenberry. I practiced this earlier. Ruvalo, she's an audiobook producer. She's going to help us with casting and coaching, and again, helping us do better at what we all want to do and provide for our students, as well as Ivomo Hall, also a producer that is helping us cast books and again, provide some coaching tips and casting tips as well. And we all know Ian, who was trying to do this work by himself a few months back. So it's great to have a full team here. And for those of you who haven't seen Ian live and in person, it's good to see him here today. So thank you, Ian. And then we have our new project management office made up of our audiobook project managers. We've got Catherine Abraham, Nava Feingold, and Audrey Santos, as well as Cherie Nightingale, one of our audiobook project managers, and the one that keeps it all together and organized and making sure we are prioritizing correctly and meeting the turnaround needs, kind of our Mission Control Center, Christina Trejos. She's our audiobook PMO lead, project management office lead. And then Eleanor Cotton, everybody should know Eleanor. She's kind of the go-to for all of our support, our director of production technology and everything that is training. So thank you, Eleanor. And then lastly, our Volunteer Nation team. They're all here to help serve you and make sure your volunteer experience is a good and positive one. We appreciate all of your time and efforts in helping our students succeed. And it's our Volunteer Nation team that helps keep it all together. So Paula Restrepo is our Volunteer Nation lead, Maria Laley, our volunteer coordinator, and Michael Kinsey, our lead recruiter of Voice Talent. as well as other skills we're looking to bring in to enhance some of our other new volunteer roles that aren't necessarily narration, but are equally important that you'll hear a little bit later on today. And at this point, I will turn it over to Cherie, who will tell you more about some of those new roles and some of the exciting things that are happening. So Cherie, all you.
Thank you, Dave. So again, it's so nice to see everybody. We really wanted to have this as a conversation and as just a very casual way to sort of let you see all of our faces. But as you can see, we're super excited in our smiling pictures. But I wanted to just sort of reiterate and keep that drumbeat going that we need volunteers now more than ever. So as we're trying out these new processes, as we're developing these new teams, we're going to be asking some of you volunteers to help us be mentors to the newer incoming volunteers. Many of you have already been pilot testers. We've been experimenting with new software. And then again, we've been trying to stand up some of these new roles that we're asking you to learn. Eleanor, after I think she's going to be doing a demo of some of the places where you can look for those new roles and get involved. So we're just going to ask you to keep checking those areas because that's going to be a way to really round out your volunteer engagement and experience with us. Dave mentioned the narrators and sort of the new diverse needs that we're going to have. So one of the things that you probably already noticed if you've been here a little while or as you're coming on, one of the first things that we ask you to do is to provide a sort of a profile of your voice quality. You might provide us with an audio sample in your training. As you're being recruited by the new producers or by Mike Kenzie, we've been collecting those audio samples. So we're no longer really asking for you to audition for a project right at the beginning. We're collecting those samples. We've compiled your profiles. And so our producers are now doing more like direct reaching out to you as opposed to you auditioning for a role. And I did want to say too, that we're asking folks to really look at their narration experience as how do you become a real master of voiceover professional. So you're going to see there's a couple of new roles, the audiobook prepper, the pronunciation research. These are things that a professional VO narrator does kind of on their own in the business world. And so while you're waiting on a assignment, it might be a good idea to sort of take a look at those new opportunities and just sort of get involved in the whole business of the narration aspect. We are looking for more higher quality. There are things that we're going to be doing and offering that will help you along the way. So we may be asking you to receive some coaching for your narrator performance. We're going to have an opportunity in January to have some narrator training. And so look for that announcement to come out in the new year. We're pretty excited about. And then whether you've been here a really long time or whether you're brand new to narration, we are going to start doing what we're calling the first 5 or the first 15 minutes kind of check for our narration. So this is a place for producers and project managers to kind of be working with you together as a team to make sure we're not hearing any weird artifacts in your audio environment, or we're not, maybe we thought we were going to go a different way with the performance. And so this is just all a part of that project launch process that's going to be happening. So I hope you'll take that in the best way, that we're just trying to create the highest quality product for our students. And then wrapped up in all of that is just something that we're really striving, not only as staff, but also we hope that you will strive as well, is that there's just additional focus on our commitment to the turnaround time, decreasing that turnaround time for our students, and then just communicating all through the project. So, I know some of you guys are probably rolling your eyes at me as the project manager because I've been a little delinquent lately, but this is something we're really striving to. And I hope you'll join us in that commitment. And of course, always your patience with us, because we can't do it without you. And we just really appreciate you staying engaged with us. So Thank you very much. And I'm going to now take a deep breath. And I'm so happy the dog didn't bark while I'm doing this. And I'm going to turn it over to Eleanor, and she's going to be able to do a demo of those cool pages.
Great. Thank you so much, Cherie. And I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to start off at our volunteer portal. Hopefully this is a familiar site to you. Consider this site as your volunteer home, because this is where everything happens for our volunteers. I'm starting out on the home page here, but let's look at some of the new features of this site and recent updates. So the first thing we want to talk about is opportunities. So this new opportunities page is broken down between group volunteering on the right and individual volunteering on the left. So many of you may be interested in that individual volunteering. So let's take a look at these individual opportunities. So these contain a lot of our new volunteer opportunities and some of our old ones. All of these are currently recruiting, okay? So this is the place to sign up and find out more information on those new and existing roles. We are continuing to add new roles, so we encourage you to check this often in case there's a new role that pops up that you may be interested in. So let's take a look at one of these roles. We'll look at one of the, let's see, the audiobook prepper role. So all you need to do is look at the roles on the left, click on them, and then you'll see that a profile of that role will appear on the right. Now you'll need to expand these two sections. Most of these roles will have a description, so we'll click on that. And you'll see a description of the role, what you'll do, the time commitment, and the skills that you'll need for that role. And then be sure to click on that next steps. If you're interested in this role, these would be the next steps for volunteering for that role. You usually have to fill out a form. I know it's yet another form, but this lets us know that you're interested in that role. And then it's kind of usually a 1, 2, 3 process, and a lot of these roles you can go ahead and get started. So this is one of those roles, and you'll see that there's other ones as well. Right, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to talk through those different roles. Here we go. Now, the first one we're going to talk about is the literature QA or quality assurance role. This is an ongoing opportunity, and the staff lead for this role is Nava Feingold. That's one of our newish employees, and I'm sure that she will definitely show you the ropes on this one. And this role has been around for a while, but it's under new management. Nava's going to take on that staff lead role for it, and all the training for this role is contained in that opportunities page and audiobooks section of our volunteer portal. So it's easy to sign up and start listening to our audiobooks to ensure they meet our standards. Note that you only need to spot check those longer titles. You get to listen to a variety of audiobooks. So if you like audiobooks, this is definitely the role for you. Next, we'll turn to audiobook prepper role. Okay. And our staff lead for this one is Catherine Abraham, and this role launched last month. So we're still growing this role, and it's going to be a grown-up version of a book report. I hope that doesn't cause any nightmares, but if you love to read, then I'm sure this would be a good fit for you. I think most of you like to read, if not all of you. The training includes written directions, and there's a twist thread for these volunteers as well. Many of you probably know that Twist is our volunteer communications app, and a join link is on our communications page in our volunteer portal. Next, we're going to turn to the video trailer producers. This role has also been around for a while, but we're still recruiting for it. Our staff leads here are Audrey Santos and Mike Kinsey. You'll be producing or reviewing short video previews of our literature audiobooks. That's mostly juvenile fiction. So this is great for our media savvy volunteers who may have some video editing experience or who want to develop those skills. Our goal for this fiscal year, which ends in June next year, is 750 book trailers, and we've only produced about 274 so far. So we would love to have some help in this role. There we go. Next up is our pronunciation research and narration research. And this is led by Cherie Nightingale, and this role is available for self-assign in the audiobook portal, and there's lots of titles available. If you wince at how many narrators pronounce words, this is the role for you. And I know we have a lot of erudite volunteers and who would be great fit for this role. Okay. Next up is our DEI casting reviewer. So our staff lead here is Catherine Abraham. And if you have an interest or personal commitment in diversity and equity, this is a great role for you. Our organization has a strong commitment to DEI, and this really fits in right in with what we're doing. So in this role, you're going to be reviewing audiobooks that are already in the catalog to make sure that we're sensitive to the needs and characterization of the characters in the audiobooks. So these are just some of the roles. There are more available, and you'll see them in that opportunities page. And we do encourage you to check that out. All right. I'm going to go back to our volunteer portal, and we're going to take a quick peek at our audiobooks page as well. So this has been reformatted to be a clearinghouse for all of those audiobook roles. Not all of our volunteer roles are concerned with the audiobook production, but a lot of them are. So this page contains a kind of a warehouse of all of the links and documents and information that you'll need as an audiobook volunteer. You'll see at the very top, there's a link to that audiobook portal, and that should be familiar to any of you who are helping us produce those audiobooks. You'll see that we have staff leads mentioned next to each of the twist thread links, and lots of information for all of those roles. All right, so I am going to go ahead and turn it back over to Ian. And Ian, I'm going to let you take it away for our Q&A.
All right, thank you, Eleanor. So